At 10, temperatures got into the 20s today. We'll get into the upper 30s to low 40s tomorrow with the rain-snow mix. Timing on that in just a few minutes.
And violence erupts in Mexico. How the widespread unrest is forcing a Wisconsin Rotary Club to shelter in place.
And school leaders are asking lawmakers for funding as well as tax relief, while local districts are concerned about the future. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening, and thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. We begin tonight with a look at the weather. Cooler today and sunny, but a wintry mix is on the way.
That's right. Blaze has the latest on the timing of these conditions. When can we expect it?
Well, I would say flurries maybe through the first half of the day, not amounting to a whole lot. But once we get into the late morning through, I would say dinner time on Tuesday, that's when at least a little band of snow is going to move through central and then southern parts of Wisconsin. As temperatures climb into the upper 30s to low 40s, maybe some of that turns over to a rain-snow mix. I wouldn't bank on a lot in the way of snow totals. We're looking at probably less than an inch for most of us, especially further south and west on Tuesday. Further north and east, Watoma, Fond du Lac, and further northeastward, maybe past that 1 inch mark, 1 to 2 inches. But this is a clipper. We're not expecting much in the way of snow, and temperatures climbing into the upper 30s to low 40s. A lot of that is going to melt as we go into tomorrow afternoon. We're headed into the teens tonight. We've talked about the rain-snow chance on Tuesday, but we're not done with snow chances before we wrap up the week. Who could see that second round of snow and how much they could see in the full forecast?
All right, Blaze, thank you. A man is in police custody after a standoff at a hotel this afternoon. Officers were sent to Hayes Road on the east side about 2:10 this afternoon. They say the person inside was accused of beating a woman earlier today. It was about 4:30. A News 3 Now cameraman spotted police taking a man away in a squad car. We'll bring you updates on the story when they come in, both on air and online at channel3000.com. And a man hurt in the town of Blooming Grove. This was a shooting last night about 7:20. Dane County Sheriff's deputies were called to the intersection of Gannon Avenue at Fury Avenue. Authorities say the victim reported being in his vehicle when a sedan sped up behind him and shot at him as he was turning in onto Fury Avenue, causing him to crash. No arrests have been made. Anyone with information or video evidence of the shooting is asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
There is growing concern at Madison East High School right now after a mother says staff there fed her son dog food instead of school lunch. According to the mom, Deborah Hawes, staff gave her 15-year-old son a can of dog food for lunch. Jaden Hawes is a freshman at East, and he's nonverbal and autistic. Deborah says that she doesn't understand how this happened and does not think it was a mistake.
And then when you give it to him, you give an autistic child a can that he could cut himself with a plastic fork and a can. You might as well gave him a metal fork if you're gonna give him a metal can. How is that an accident?
Deborah says the teacher that gave her son that food is now fired. We did reach out to the district, but are told they cannot comment on the situation because of privacy, but they take all safety concerns seriously.
Tonight, the Madison School District's board held a moment of silence at their meeting for Sasha Rosen. It was February 5th when Rosen, a West High School senior, was killed at a crash on South Park Street while he was waiting for a bus to go to school. Police say the driver that hit Rosen, Kathleen Borgward, was going over 60 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Sasha's remembered as someone who was a lover of music and the arts, known for his beautiful story and the strong bonds he formed with his teachers and peers. Sasha's passing has taken a significant toll on so many students and staff in the West High School community, and we remember them tonight.
Borgward's charged with second-degree reckless homicide in connection to the crash. The school district has since changed bus routes on South Park Street.
Over the weekend, the Mexican military killed the leader of a powerful drug cartel, sparking retaliatory attacks. The U.S. State Department is telling Americans to shelter in place.
And one of those dangerous spots right now is Puerto Vallarta, where members of a Rotary Club from Onalaska near La Crosse are staying. Seth Padilla has more on their situation.
I spoke with Lisa Kind, a member from the Onalaska Hilltopper Rotary Club. She says they are safe, but they feel like they're left in limbo. It's day 2 for the group with no end in sight.
At this point, we don't have any news on, when things will start moving. It's been very uneasy, I guess. Just, we're reaching out to people, that we know that work at airlines and talking to our husbands that, and resources that we have connections with of like, what should we do? Do you rebook? Our airline is telling us to just hang tight.
Now, they are in contact with the United States Embassy, but they say the updates are vague. Lisa sent News 8 Now some of the updates she received from the embassy, information on the general area with recommended actions. Things like seeking shelter and avoiding areas with law enforcement were part of the tips. One member of the group was separated at a marina due to the chaos starting when they were on a whale watching tour. And during the lockdown, they are finding ways to pass the time.
We're able to, still enjoy the pools and the ocean, and the restaurants are still open here. Other hotels, I've heard everything is shut down.
And even met others from the Midwest.
The complex that we're in has some timeshares, and we met some people from Minnesota. So they took us in under their wing yesterday, and we hung out with them yesterday afternoon. They cooked us suppers.
The Rotary Club was in Mexico to deliver water filters for families there. Lisa says the worst part is not knowing what's next, but it's important to stay composed.
Yesterday morning was a very uneasy feeling, just the smell and the smoke in the air. It was just, you read and see things like this on the news, and you never want to experience this firsthand.
Even when faced with close calls.
Yes, we saw cartel at this point because we did see the mini bikes, because they were on mini bikes, and they're the ones that were setting the fires.
This is a developing story, so any other information that we receive, we'll be sure to relay them to you. Reporting in the newsroom, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Seth. In other news, President Trump is doubling down on tariffs after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against him last week. He announced he would be raising global tariffs now to 15%. The Wisconsin Farmers Union says because of the taxes, farmers have received less money for the products they produce, but at the same time have to pay more for what they need to make those products.
A bunch of the inputs that farmers have, like seed, fertilizer, equipment, parts, labor, anything that had aluminum and steel in it, those were all cost us more last year.
The president raised the tariffs using a specific section of the Trade Act of 1974 that can only remain in effect for 150 days.
Lent is in full swing, and a spike in demand for fish is driving up some wholesale costs this month. Pollock spiked about 30% in cost for some suppliers, and Labor Department data shows frozen seafood prices are already up 8.4% in December compared to a year earlier. Some shop owners are trying to keep their prices the same no matter what changes with supply and demand.
They care about the community and they care about who they, work with. And that's meaningful to me.
Experts still expect seafood demand to remain strong in the coming weeks, even if the price of that Friday fish fry is a little higher.
State Assembly lawmakers have passed a bill that would no longer allow SNAP funds to buy soft drinks or candy. 18 other states have signed comparable policies into law. Now, according to the USDA's website, it claims, quote, the Trump administration is leading bold reform to strengthen integrity and restore nutritional value within SNAP.
We already banned alcohol and tobacco, for instance, for purchase with SNAP benefits. Why are we allowing people to buy food that's absolute poor for their health?
The bill is now on its way to the Senate for further consideration. It is not likely that Governor Evers would sign it if the bill made it to his desk.
Now, the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction officially declared this week as Public Schools Week as questions regarding funding continue. Right now, the governor and the legislature seem to be at a standstill with how to move forward here. The governor's $1.3 billion proposal includes more money for public schools along with property tax relief. Local districts are concerned about having to ask taxpayers to vote yes on never-ending operational referendums.
If you have a no vote on an operational referendum, it's pretty catastrophic for a school district to not have that money. And that means budget reductions and cuts to programming, services, and staffing.
Local school districts are hoping for a bipartisan compromise. The assembly session ended last Friday without finishing this conversation. And the Portage Community School District will turn to voters in April for a referendum to cover operational costs. Now, the district is asking voters for a maximum of $3.7 million over each of the next school years. School tax rates are not projected to increase if this referendum passes. They simply keep on with an old one. The administrator said the district simply isn't getting enough money under that current state aid formula to cover the cost of high-level programs and services for students there.
Well, the Union Grove Village president is running to succeed Republican Representative Robin Vos. Steve Wickland has served as the village president since 2021. He says his campaign will focus on limited government, lower taxes, and strong public safety. Last week, as you may remember, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos announced his retirement, opening up his seat in District 33. Wickland is the first candidate to announce a campaign for the spot.
Next week, Urban Triage of Madison is organizing a homelessness awareness experience. Now, the awareness event is being titled Seen and Unseen. It's part of the Big Share 2026 and consists of 4 stops outside businesses along the Capitol Square. Now, the experience aims to help educate the public about the ongoing housing crisis and the traumas that unhoused people endure.
It's right on the Capitol Square, so you can't look away. It was really intentional to be around local politicians, to be close to the county jail, to be close to, all the folks that are making these decisions around, especially around funding, and how, especially our federal government, is cutting a huge amount of permanent housing funding specifically.
Seen and Unseen will take place next Tuesday, March 3rd, running from noon to 5:30 p.m. Again, that's along the Capitol Square. And next at 10, Blaze is back to tell us about the wintry mix that's on the way.
And a winter storm is rocking the East Coast. The record amounts of snow dumped on that region when we come back.
Watching News 3 Now at 10.
The Northeast continues to dig out after a powerful nor'easter pummeled much of the region.
The storm dropping up to 2 or 3 feet of snow, leaving hundreds of thousands without power. Jared Hill is in New York City with the latest.
It's a race to dig out the Northeast after a powerful bomb cyclone dumped record snow from Delaware to Maine. Nearly 20 inches of snow fell in New York City's Central Park. In Staten Island, 24 inches. It's the most snow New York has seen in over a decade.
We are plowing streets and doing everything we can to keep our roadways clear so that emergency vehicles can get through. These are dangerous conditions.
This storm ground New York City to a literal halt early Monday with a rare travel ban across the city. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses were left in the dark with incredible power outages. At the height of the storm, some residents were seen getting around on skis.
And I just love it. It's so easy to get around on cross-country skis.
It was beautiful. I saw lots of other skiers, lots of people playing in the park.
Others used snowshoes.
Since it's still falling, it's really deep. They haven't been able to keep up with it quite yet.
In Boston, snow fell as rapidly as 2 to 3 inches an hour, and winds reached 60 miles an hour, creating whiteout conditions.
It's going to be a lot of shoveling. Yeah. We'll see. We'll take it as it goes.
The entire state of New Jersey was under a blizzard warning for the first time in 30 years. Snowplows struggling against the snow. Freehold Township getting more than 2 feet.
I'm sick of it. I don't want to see no more snow.
And Providence, Rhode Island set an all-time record with almost 3 feet of snow. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Well, that is a lot of snow. Here in southern Wisconsin, clouds are expected to move in tonight ahead of a wintry mix. And Blaze, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at nothing compared to what they're dealing with out east. Just for perspective, Madison, we picked up 24.7 inches of snow from December 1st through yesterday's data. I just checked. Some folks out east have obviously picked up more than that and then some within the last 24 to 48 hours. So our entire winter has fallen in a matter of days for some folks out east. We'll add to our snow totals in some parts of southern Wisconsin over the next 2 days, but obviously nothing compared to all of that snow that is out east. The first one, as we mentioned, and we'll go over again, is Tuesday. This is going to be a light rain snow mix, and for folks further south and west, because we're further from the center of low pressure, which is going to be pretty much in southern Canada, it's going to be a little bit harder for those snow showers to get going. And with temperatures climbing into the upper 30s to low 40s, we'll likely see at the very least it turn over to a light rain snow mix as we head into the mid to late afternoon hours. We're at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Probably not going to impact your evening commute. If it's a little bit slower, it might. But again, further south and west, it is certainly going to be lighter than for folks closer to Lake Michigan, and certainly lighter than for folks further north and east. So northeastern Wisconsin and northeastern parts of our coverage area get primarily the threat of snow tomorrow. Wednesday night into Thursday, that moves to parts of Crawford, Grant, Richland, Iowa, and Lafayette counties. Our latest data continues to keep on that trend of keeping a lot more of that snow into parts of Iowa as this clipper moves on through. But if it were to slide its way back east, we might pick up less than an inch of snow. Both of these systems, Tuesday and then Wednesday night, they're both clippers, so they don't have a lot of moisture with them. And even though we will climb into those upper 30s to low 40s on Tuesday, we haven't built up enough moisture yet to get a lot of that snow to stick around. And temperatures are going to be above freezing, so some of that will move on over from snow to rain. But as I mentioned, we have been really lacking in the way of snow. Some folks out east have picked up Madison's entire snowfall for the winter season so far in the matter of days. Madison this February, we are kind of reminiscent of January of last year where we barely got any snow. We haven't even gotten an inch yet for the month, and we usually pick up 13 inches of snow. So at 0.6 inches of snow, we're at the fourth least snowiest February on record for the Madison area. Even if we get an inch or so in the next 2 days, we'll likely stay within probably the top 10 least snowiest Februaries on record for the Madison area, which spans over 150 years of data. But we were able to see a nice little snowflake up there in Dunkirk. Thank you, Ralph, for this. You can send any weather photos to the QR code there. If you have our First Warn Weather app, there's an area to submit it there as well, or on our website. We're looking at another chance for snow as we officially end February and kick off March Sunday into Monday. That one could be a bit of a bigger system. We'll keep an eye on it, but until then, enjoy the 30s and then the 50s to end this work week.
All right, and our First Warn Weather team has been working on an informative and very exciting weather special. It's time to get severe weather ready. This special features how watches and warnings are issued, the latest research on southern Wisconsin's severe weather season, what goes into issuing alert days, and how the First Warn Weather team conducts severe weather drills. It airs Wednesday night. That's at 6:30.
And in the 608, nominations are officially open on channel3000.com for the Spirit of Service 2026. News 3 Now and Vortex Optics are teaming up to recognize veterans who continue to serve their communities long after their time in uniform. The Spirit of Service Award honors local vets whose actions make a meaningful and positive impact in southern Wisconsin. This award is designed to spotlight individuals who embody leadership, generosity, and a commitment to giving back.
And that's what we love to highlight and honor and recognize. These people have given so much of their lives to service for our country. And like you said, that doesn't end. That's a part of who they are, and they come back and they're doing incredible work within their own communities. And we're just happy to honor that and recognize that.
You are encouraged to nominate a deserving veteran by sharing their story online at channel3000.com. Nominations will be accepted now through March 22nd. Vortex will narrow those down to 5, the final 5, and we'll share those stories. Then you get a chance to vote for your favorite. The winner will be selected and announced on April 15th.
And Andrew is here as we take a look at sports.
Yeah, still to come in sports, what Greg Gard says makes Nick Boyd tick. Talking about his superstar next on News 3 Now.
And now, News 3 Now Sports, brought to you by TDS.
First, it was A.J. Storr, and then it was John Tonje. This year, it's Nick Boyd. In an ever-changing college basketball landscape, Greg Gard has mastered the art of picking the right players out of the transfer portal. Yesterday, the Badgers beat Iowa, and Boyd came a rebound shy of a 27-point triple-double. Tune into News 3 Now tomorrow to really get to know Nick in my sit-down with the Badgers superstar. But for now, here's Greg Gard on what makes Nick tick.
He's fiercely competitive. You know, you see that. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He wants to win. He's emotional. He's vocal. And he's been part of winning. You know, he's played on very successful teams. So he understands what goes into it. And he's a worker. He's in the gym early. He's in the gym late. I'm not sure when he sleeps. I keep telling him, making sure he's getting enough rest. But he puts a lot of time into it, and he's extremely competitive.
Well, losing their best 5 players to the Olympics was not a problem for Wisconsin women's hockey. Their self-proclaimed B team held their ground the last month of the regular season, securing their 2nd straight WCHA conference title and their 11th all-time. That's tied with Minnesota for the most ever. Next up for the Badgers is the WCHA tournament. where their Olympians return to the team as the top-seeded Badgers host Bemidji State in a best-of-3 this weekend at LeBon. And we'll have full coverage of the women all the way. The guest on this week's Wisconsin Huddle is Wisconsin women's hockey's Ava Murphy. And next weekend, you can watch the WCHA tournament semifinals and final free and over the air on our sister station, Television Wisconsin. Let's play some baseball down in Arizona for Brewers spring training. The Crew still looking for their first win in the preseason. Not that that really matters this time of year, but this will help. Andrew Vaughn lifts his first long ball of the early preseason, but it wouldn't help enough as the Padres take it 7-5. Looking ahead, however, the Crew are chasing a fourth straight NL Central title, not with their checkbooks, but by buying into Brewer baseball.
We know we're not going to go out and sign these big guys every offseason, right? We know we're not going to enter that free agency pool and start offering these guys money. But we also really take pride in drafting guys, our homegrown guys.
That's it for sports. We'll be right back with a final check of your First Warn forecast.
Tonight, a team led by the University of Chicago says it has discovered a new species of dinosaur. In 2019, a 20-person team went on an expedition to the Central Sahara in Niger. In the desert, they found a bone in the shape of a scimitar sword.
Further research found it was the head crest of a new species, Spinosaurus mirabilis. Did I say it right, Abe?
Well done.
Yes.
2 hours of practice,
It's actually,
folks.
yeah, whatever. The hell heron. It took a return visit in 2022, 2 more head crests, plus a 3D digital skull assembly powered by solar panels in the desert before these researchers figured out what it was.
That's scary.
It's cool looking.
That is.
It looks like something you could put, well, whatever.
That's a dinosaur, as Abe
dinosaur.
would say, our producer. Well, let's go to Blaze Final Check and keeping an eye on a wintry mix coming our way.
He loves those things. We are looking at a rain-snow mix tomorrow. Underneath mostly cloudy conditions, upper 30s to low 40s. Totals are going to be light, not only tomorrow, but on Thursday as well, with some light snow Wednesday night into Thursday. We're looking at the 50s by Friday, ending the last full work week in the 50s in February. And then as we're starting off March next Monday, back into the 20s with some snow.
All right. Thank you, Blaze. And thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10. We appreciate it. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is up next.
The next newscast tomorrow morning starts